This is Q13 News This Morning with Kaci and Travis.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Travis Mayfield.
And I'm Kaci Aitchison. Here's what we're focusing on this half hour.
Why do some people look familiar even when you can't place exactly whether you met them or how you might know them or not? You are not crazy.
You might be, but it's not with this. There's actual science behind this coming up next. Why it has to do with how your brain uses your eyes to identify other people.
And then sports and technology on a collision course like never before in our region, ground zero for the innovation. What's next for classics like, I don't know, football, baseball, and then emerging new sports.
Also, when are short shorts too short for your little shorty? A mom takes matters into her own hands, and this time it is not to the embarrassment of her kids. The business she launched and how it's sparking a change in kids' fashion.
I'm excited about that story.
Yeah.
Later in the show, that looks so good. I recently posted a photo of dragon fruit on my Facebook page. The comments poured in, what's that? How do you eat it? What does it taste like? So we went in search of the most unusual fruits you didn't know exist. We'll show them to you and tell you how they taste and how you might find them this summer.
This is new for me, too. But first, we have a mystery, an actual cold case attracting the attention of a $4 billion industry in our state and led by a corruption-fighting former FBI agent.
Okay, the thing is, this isn't a cold case about murder or fraud. It's actually an investigation into the disappearance of, get this, 13,000 different varieties of apples.
It's an apple mystery?
It is an apple mystery.
It's literally a cold case. I see what you did there.
That's exactly right. This is not a Dateline mystery we're talking about here. One of those varieties was the Arkansas Beauty, widely grown and sold across the Pacific Northwest generations ago, but the trees died out, the fruit rotted. Scientists declared it lost until recently when this former FBI agent we were talking about, David Binscotter, tracked down a single tree growing within the boundaries of Steptoe Butte, which is a state park between Pullman and Spokane in eastern Washington. See it there on your map. Binscotter actually found the tree and the apples it is bearing, and now they are trying to propagate them. Well, the thing is, he does this for all kinds of missing apple varieties. It's a slow and painstaking process. He searches old historic archives, old farm records, he just really old-fashioned detective work. Other lost varieties include these, the Dickinson and the Neros. These are apples you and I have not tasted before. Historic apples are now part of the Lost and Heritage Apples of the Palouse Project. It's a collaboration between Wazoo and Whitman County's Historic Society. So you're probably asking, why is this happening? Why is this a thing? For researchers, it's about preserving the past. For modern-day apple growers, it's about bringing those varieties back to regular growth and bringing them to market, staying competitive in the global apple market, which brings billions of dollars into our state every single year.
See, and this is why people are trying to come up with new varieties. We just did that story a few weeks ago on a brand new apple being grown in Washington.
When we could just look to our past and find all these old varieties, too.
Yeah, nostalgia, even for the apple industry.
That's right.
Well, you look familiar. That's a phrase we all hear. Maybe we even use it a lot, but are we really remembering all of these faces, or is the mind playing tricks on us? Researchers at Caltech say the brain really can remember a huge number of faces, and they think they've actually cracked the code as to why. From this article in the New York Times, 2 biologists monitored the brain signals in monkeys to map how their brains interpret facial images the moment they see them. They believe it's a system very similar to that of humans. And here's exactly what they did. They watched how specific facial recognition brain cells in the monkeys fired off while looking at pictures of more than 2,000 human faces. The researchers were then able to reconstruct the face the monkeys had looked at simply by mapping the pattern they watched their brain cells fire in. The big takeaway, now while we're equipped with tens of thousands of so-called face cells in our own brains to do this, we only need a couple of hundred to identify an entire face, because we look at them in sections and we go, oh, this looks familiar. So this is why we're able to remember so many faces. It takes our brain less than a second to identify and form a first impression, but it's enough to remember it for another several decades. Here's another example, and I was thinking about this with you. So Travis has a beard right now, right? Okay, well, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you shave it.
Right.
And I don't notice right away. They say that's a thing. It's the beard comparison that they do. Your brain remembers the face, and so you don't notice the minute something tiny changes about it. And you think, that's weird. You look kind of different, but I can't put my finger on it, because you're not looking at the specifics of where the beard is.
So people shouldn't be offended when someone gets a haircut and they don't notice right away.
No, you should still be offended. No. But more research obviously needs to be done to kind of confirm these findings, but they say this is a huge step forward in studies of the brain and determining how we connect with people.
I love it. That makes so much sense. I think I see people I know all the time, and I'm like, did I go to high school with you?
Right.
Or did I not?
And maybe they literally just have a giant section of face that matches a face you've actually seen before, that you've memorized.
Crazy. I love science.
Me too.
Speaking of science and technology, technology impacting everything around us, even sports. In fact, the folks at GeekWire believe the world of technology changing the way we experience the world of sports, whether we're playing or watching, like me.
Crazy. I mean, they're hosting the second annual GeekWire Sports Tech Summit on June 21st and 22nd. Here with a preview and to share more about how the collision of these two worlds impacts all of us, GeekWire's Taylor Soper. Good morning.
Good to be back. Thanks for having me
It's always good to have you. So you did this for the very first time last year. What was it that made you decide that this was an important, collision of worlds, as we've been calling it?
So when I was studying at the UW, go Dogs, by the way.
Yeah, go Dogs.
I was into sports reporting and sports journalism. That's what I wanted to do. But after I graduated, I landed at GeekWire doing tech reporting. But I still wanted to write about sports every now and then. This was back in like 2012. Fast forward 5 years, I'm the sports technology reporter now, basically because we've seen so much happening at this intersection of sports and tech, whether it's how we play or how we watch, like you mentioned. Big companies, small companies are all getting involved, and that's why we decided to do the Sports Tech Summit last year, as you mentioned. We had folks like Steve Ballmer, former Microsoft CEO, who now owns the Clippers, Doug Baldwin, the receiver from the Seahawks, and Don Garber, who runs the MLS. So that was last year. It was awesome, and we decided to do it again. So next week, June 21st and 22nd at CenturyLink Field.
So give us some examples. How playing sports changing, and how is sitting on the couch drinking some beer watching sports?
My favorite
Because the
part.
beer is not changing.
Well, the beer might get to you faster in the future, possibly.
Oh, I like this.
Your face is lighting up right there.
Yes.
Well, you're right. How we play and how we watch is really the big things we are tracking. And so how we play is all about measuring data. It's all about data. So using different trackers, different wearables, using high-tech cameras to measure movement. A good example of this is the Seattle Sounders right here in our backyard are one of the leading teams in terms of using sports science to make better decisions on the field. And not just on the field, but also off it. They've recently started incorporating data for how they sign players, how they trade players, how they draft players, so using information and data, machine learning, AI to figure out how to make better decisions. And also how we watch is being transformed, whether you're in the stadium and you want to get a burger delivered, maybe hit a few buttons on your phone, or at home, maybe we're going to be all strapping on VR headsets one day to watch sports. I don't know. We'll see.
That's insane. Well, and we already have esports, which is something that's really come into popularity in recent years. What do you make of that? Because that literally is technology and sports combined into one experience.
Yeah, you can't have a conversation about sports tech without talking about esports. Now, for those who aren't familiar, esports is basically electronic sports, but moreover, it's competitive video gaming. So this is a huge industry, a lot of big bucks, a lot of business. A lot of businesses are paying attention to this. It's basically people playing against each other on video games, which might sound ridiculous to some of us, but especially the younger crowds are really into this, and not just playing these games and competing with each other, but also watching. There's this phenomenon of people enjoy watching other people play video games. That sounded ridiculous maybe a few years ago, but this is a huge thing. Amazon right here in our backyard bought a company called Twitch a few years ago, and Twitch is the leading streaming platform where people go watch other people play games. So esports is an industry to watch for sure.
We only have like 10 seconds left, but in one sentence, what is it? What's next? Where are we headed in sports and tech?
I don't know. You got to come to the GeekWire Sports Tech Summit. Yeah,
I like it.
Oh, well played.
So we've got Sue Bird, everyone from Mariners GM Jerry DePoto coming to help us learn about the future of sports. So we'll see you guys next week.
Sounds fascinating. Awesome. Thank you, Taylor Soper with GeekWire. And again, that's June 21st and 22nd. For tickets, you can head to geekwire.com.
So there is a new Gallup poll out this week showing that President Donald Trump's approval ratings have fallen to 36%, while his disapproval ratings are now at a historic high of 59%. Now, we tell you this to set up this next story. Approval ratings among world leaders seen obviously as a good indicator of how a country is doing. But get this, one of the countries with the highest approval rating for their leader is North Korea. Not doing so well. In fact, a recent poll found Kim Jong-un's approval rating is higher than 50%. The family has ruled North Korea since 1948. North Korea's leaders have a history of telling citizens interesting things about them that just aren't true. Some of those myths about the family who runs the country include, I don't know, how about this one? Everyone loves them. Despite the leaders having a horrible international reputation, North Koreans are told their leaders are beloved around the world, and get this, each country loves them so much, we celebrate their birthdays. Also, in order to keep that myth alive, well, guess what? The internet is also a myth. Only people with access to the internet in North Korea, government officials and high-level government officials. Now, Kim Jong-un never needs to use the restroom, at least according to folks who live in North Korea. They are told that is because his body is so well calibrated that he just never needs to go. I'm not joking. That's actually what they believe. Before he died, Kim Jong-il was apparently a fashion icon around the world, and his subjects, I guess you could call them, in North Korea, they are told that is because of his signature military suit. They're also told Kim Jong-il invented the hamburger, but originally called it the double bread with meat.
Travis, I'm picturing people who are just listening out of the corner of their ears to you, and they're like, wait, this is all true?
Right. Fake news! Fake news! Travis, fake news!
I know.
It
well,
is,
guys,
actually.
it is fake news. That's what we're reporting.
Yep.
That is real. What do you make of that? That's insane.
It is crazy how tightly they can control information and what people believe because the lack of external information getting into the country.
So interesting.
Yeah.
So switching gears just slightly, and by that I mean completely. You have a young daughter, Travis. Have you ever gone shopping to buy her shorts and thought, okay, these are way too short for a 4-year-old?
Yes, like on a regular basis.
No, well, one mom felt the same way, so she decided to do something about it. Sharon Choxy took her 4-year-old Maya to buy shorts, but she found the shorts in the girls section were too short, but the ones in the boys section were simply too long. In fact, she looked into it and found girls' shorts were 65% shorter than boys' shorts. So she decided to do something about it. She launched Girls Will Be, a brand aimed at making sure girls and their parents can find shorts that are in the middle fit. You can see, take a look at this picture. This is the difference in length right there. Choxy said she decided to do this because, quote, we live in a culture where girls and women face a lot of pressure to be thin and look a certain way. When the fit of girls' clothing is so consistently small, it's just adding to that pressure. So we're actually talking about this on Facebook, so we want to make sure everybody can weigh in on this. But first, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad. I mean, I want, first of all, more options. Good for any parent who gets many options. What I don't like is that, you know, this is what a girl has to wear, this is what a boy has to wear.
Right.
I like lots of options. If shorter shorts is what you want to dress your kid in,
right,
go for it. Like, that's, as your parent, you get to do that. And sometimes our daughter does have shorter shorts maybe than, you know, other shorts that are longer and baggier. It's the options, and I like this mom said, there are some problems, and I want to try and fix it, and I went out and did it.
Yeah, well, think about women who play volleyball. They wear short shorts. It's easier to move around. You don't have to worry about getting caught in anything. Tyler, what are people saying on Facebook?
Yeah, well, what are the clothing rules in your household? That's what we've been asking. And a lot of people are saying, no, 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 no short shorts. I can't say that I necessarily agree, but one of my favorite comments so far is from Michaela. She says, I don't mind short shorts until I can see someone's backside. So there you go. Cover up and everything will be okay. Head to our Facebook and we'll read some more comments coming up.
Sounds good. Well, it's summertime and summer means lots of fruit.
Yeah, so we know all about strawberries, watermelons, but up next we have a local produce manager here with some fruits I'm sure you've never heard of. I know there's fruits on this list I've never tried.
I'm looking at them. I don't recognize a single one.
I'm really excited about this segment. Stay with us.
Do you want to keep it under just?
Yeah, let's just keep it. That was kind of lame.
Welcome back. There is something magical about summertime fruit. It's a little bit nostalgic, it's sweet, it's fun to enjoy.
But the thing is, if you are just eating apples, oranges, bananas, and pears, you are missing out on, I don't know, a world of adventure right here. So Jonathan Polk is the supervisor in the produce department at Wajimaya, one of the largest Asian grocery stores in the Pacific Northwest, down there in Soto, one of our favorite spots. You are here because we really were like, hey, let's talk about some fruit people have never heard of before.
Yeah.
So should we just start right here?
Sure, why not? Yeah, the one that I recently learned is your new favorite.
Yes.
Dragon fruit. Yeah, you don't really see this too often at other stores.
It's expensive too here in the West.
It kind of depends on where it's coming from too. Like for example, a lot of these we'll get them shipped like Vietnam or something like that. So it kind of depends on where they're coming from. That will vary the price. So, but yeah, just show the inside here.
This is one of those fruits that looks beautiful on the outside, and then you open it up and you're like, that looks nothing like it you expect
Why
it to.
is that a poppy seed fruit?
It's like, oh yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Yeah, like if you ever had a kiwi fruit, the texture is kind of like that.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of a softer. It's a very mild, sweet fruit, really. Some people like to add a little bit of a sweetener to it, like just a sugar, just to help enhance it. But yeah, definitely not necessarily summertime. We can get these generally year-round. Again, depends on where it's coming from, whenever it's in season somewhere else.
I like it because it's like cool and refreshing.
Yes, it is.
Very there's lots of water and moisture content in it.
Yeah,
What I like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about this orange fruit that looks familiar, but I have no idea what it is.
So hard not to handle all of it.
It's called a kiwano, or it's also known as a horned melon. So this is another.
It looks frightening.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I didn't want to be
sharp.
disrespectful to the fruit, but
yeah,
it looks
careful. It is a little sharp.
Oh, it looks
this
even
one's
more
interesting.
frightening.
What
so
is happening there?
it's more, the taste is more like kind of like a refreshing like cucumber almost like taste. So not as much as a really sweet tropical like fruit, but you basically just eat the pulp inside.
Including the seeds? I hope, because there's a lot of them.
Yeah, they're really soft. They're not gonna hurt you. Okay. But yeah, it's another one of those fruits that I think a lot of people like to put in like their smoothies or puree it. But really simple, refreshing type of it.
As soon as you cut it, I could smell that. It does smell like cucumber, kind of. It's that sort of
it does,
mild, like, I like it. I'm excited to try that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are these bunches
All right,
of?
now moving on to...
Those look like grapes, but I'm guessing not.
More so the summertime kind of exclusives, as you say. The first one, though, is a longan fruit. So it's kind of almost like a grape-like texture, and it's really thin, easy to peel, and then you eat it just like this. There's a small pit in the middle of it. But that's the fruit that you eat, I'm sorry. But then it's very sweet. It's really similar. It's often compared to the lychee. Lychee is way more popular, I think, out here in the States.
Now, lychee I have only had in a martini.
And I was going to say, yeah, the flavor is kind of taken over a bunch of other things like ice cream, candy, sodas.
Okay, so there are other
cocktails.
ways to enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of the same. It's kind of like a distant cousin. Very similar, but the flavor is way sweeter, in my opinion. It's more my favorite.
And how do you say it again? I always say it wrong.
I say lychee.
Lychee. Okay.
But I've heard a couple other.
Okay.
a couple other ways. So I don't think there's any wrong way.
The fact that both of these are a little bit slimy kind of frightens me, but I'm interested to try the taste of them.
It is, yeah. It's definitely. So this is one that's usually more available. Currently have it in the store, and it will go throughout like late summertime. Again, depends on how Mother Nature wants to treat us.
So those are familiar. Those look like grapes. They look like normal grapes to me, but you tell me they're not?
This one, okay, so this one's a fairly newer item for us, but we're trying to bring it in. It's a very short season in the summertime, and it's literally cotton candy grapes, these grapes.
How is that possible?
Would you like to try one?
Yes, I want to try one. I don't believe
go ahead and just pick one
Are
off.
there seeds?
You first.
There's not.
Me first. Thanks, Travis.
Green, seedless. It's literally just cotton candy grapes. Definitely you should pick them up while you can.
Oh my gosh, really?
It is a short season.
Give it till the third bite and you'll taste it. Pink cotton candy.
It totally is.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
That's crazy.
That's really cool, yeah. It's one of our personal favorites for sure when it comes in.
Those are really good.
We currently have them at the store as well. So again, get them while you can because they get really popular really fast.
I can understand why.
So.
Oh, that's
So is it like bread with something? How does it taste like cotton candy?
I was afraid to say that.
Is it like bread
Well,
with
when a
cotton
cotton candy and a grape love each other very much.
I wish I knew.
Wow.
But it's it's really cool item that we carry.
That's great.
But the last one is my personal favorite. I kind of wait for these every summer. They're called garlic spears, and it's actually like the flower bulb of an elephant garlic.
the giant one. So later, and these get picked before the flower blooms, and you can actually eat this entire thing, just like basically like an asparagus. Like for example, I will dice it up, just saute it in like a little bit of butter, salt and pepper, and that's it. It's a really mild, garlicky flavor. Some people use them raw, just diced up in like a salad. Really good, really, really good.
Could you just pick one off there and eat it?
Absolutely. You can totally try a piece if you want.
Travis, I'm going to let you do. I trust Travis to do this.
Let me get you a. Try that little bit. It's gonna have a little bit more of a kick when it's raw like that. But that's why some people like you can use it as chives.
All right, slice me up a slice of that. I can't let him alone.
Don't come near me,
please.
because it is gonna like blow you away. Holy
Is it really
moly.
that potent?
No, it's just, I mean, it's good. It's
I
garlicky.
can smell it from here.
Ooh, it's garlicky.
It is, right? When you
tastes
saute
really
it,
good.
it mellows it down when you cook it. But it's definitely...
Yeah, there's a lot of garlic in that, but it is mellower.
Wow.
It is.
I like it.
It's very good.
It's like when you eat something spicy and you're like, whoa, wait, I love it.
So really briefly, is all of this stuff like expensive? Like, I mean, if we get it in season, can I get like a better deal? I mean, and I see the colorful fruits, I think, oh, I can't.
Yeah.
It's not as cheap as an apple.
Yeah, aside from, its availability, if we are able to get enough, yeah, we'll have deals. It just kind of just depends on the time of the year, where it's coming from, honestly, and if it's available, really. Yeah, because they come from all around the place, like especially like dragon fruit and kiwano.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Just gonna load Travis up here.
Jonathan Polk from Wajimaya, thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. You're amazing.
You have to try the dragon fruit.
I will. Definitely.
So still ahead, we are talking about clothing rules in your house, in my house.
Are your kids allowed to wear shorts, and how short is too short? Head to our Q13 Fox Facebook page and chime in.
And then take a look at your screen for your weekend trivia. We do not know the answer to this, so we'll have the answer after this.
I have a guess.
Okay, take a look at your screen for the weekend trivia. Port of Tacoma is the blank largest container port in the U.S. Kaci?
I guessed 8th largest because it seemed in the middle of the other options. What was your guess?
That's your SAT strategy right there. I'm going to go with 6th largest.
Okay.
Tyler, what are your guesses?
6th.
6th,
That's
all
my
right.
guess. I think it's big.
And the answer?
Oh!
Hey! It's a lucky guess.
Wow, must
like
be
it.
nice
I'll take it.
being so smart. Well, our Facebook topic is, do you let your kids wear short shorts? How short is too short? And what are the clothing rules in your house?
So digital producer Tyler, get in here. What are folks saying on Facebook about the clothing?
2 to 1 people are saying no, 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 no to the short shorts.
Extra.
But here's a couple responses. Mark says, I think a lot of the problem we have these days is because of who is actually doing the parenting. Parents just set a rule, and that's the rule. You need to stick with it. What do you think, Travis? You're a
No,
parent.
I think I like giving our daughter options. I like her to be involved in choosing her clothes, but I like to have lots of different choices. She buys lots of clothes in the boys section, and I like that. I don't think that's bad. But I like clothing manufacturers not to force us to buy one certain thing.
Give us options, and we all have different body types, and I think whatever is comfortable in your family, we should celebrate and not shame people into feeling like, oh, you're trying to be, you know, disrespectful by wearing that. That's usually not the case.
Just put something on.
Just wear clothes.
Although a 2-year-old with a bare bottom is pretty darn cute.
It is cute.
Pretty darn cute.
But only 2-year-olds. Thank you for joining us. Remember, we're here every Friday at 9:30, Saturdays and Sundays 6:30 on Joe TV.